This here is some interesting things to note about my Bark River Bravo 3. The first interesting thing is the edge right here is rolled. Not deeply, just a microscopic edge right on the end. Both bevels here are set at 10 degrees on each side. They did it perfectly. And I think there's about like a 15 degree or like a 12 degree micro bevel. And how that edge right here has rolled, you can hear, I don't know if you'll be able to hear that. But it's definitely rolled. And then right here, it's not rolled. That's why it's not scratching my nail. And then it's scratching my nail right up here. But anyways, it has rolled just so slightly. But that's interesting because I was just chopping wood. This is CPM 3V with like a 12 degree micro bevel on it. It shouldn't roll at all. I was just holding the stick, and it was a hardwood. It was pecan. It was kind of dried out. I had it, and I was just chopping this way. And I guess it rolled it somehow, so that's interesting. And another interesting thing is the glue that's inside of here is like coming out. That used to be smooth multiple times, and it came out multiple times, and I smoothed it off. I cut it off with my knife or something. I think it's done it on the back too. Yeah, that's like the super glue that they put in there is slowly coming out. I guess the vibrations of it. See that? It's rolled. Super interesting. But 10 degrees on each side, that is wicked. They set this perfectly. They set this thing, they made this thing perfectly. This one here, they made it, the Bark River Bravo 1.5, they made it. It was horrendous whenever I got it. It had like a 45 degree edge bevel over here. And it took me a long time to take it down to what it is now on a sharpening stone by hand. Now, one more interesting thing about this knife is whenever they made it, let's say this is the belt sander, right? It's a belt. It went this way. And then they tilted the knife like this to get to the tip because the grind lines on the knife here on the edge are going like this. All the way to the tip. They're going straight that way. All the way to the tip on both sides. So that means they didn't turn the knife to get the tip right here. Like this. They didn't go and turn the knife. They just went and then they picked the knife up to get to the tip. And that's not how you do it. It's not how you're supposed to do it. It's not how you're supposed to sharpen them. With this knife, the grind lines, as you can see, the grind line should, you're not going to see it right here because it's all tarnished and stuff, but whenever I sharpen it, I got to go get another marker. All right, got a better marker. Okay, so the grind lines on this one go like this. And then as the blade turns this way, it still's going straight out. Now, if you make the knife like that, you have a nicer product. You have more quality control over the product. You have more control over making the knife, unless you're just a professional with grinding it and tilting it this way. But that's not how I would do it if I worked for Bark River. And then we got this knife here, and the grind lines, as I could see right here, all of the grind lines were going this way. this way, 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 this way. And it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be a 90-degree straight correlation with the edge. And that's why they messed up on this knife very severely. This here is what this knife should have looked like, but instead it looks like this knife. It's so thin right here, it's like as thin as a leaf. As thin as a leaf. Okay? And so because of that, I can only sharpen the very, very edge, as you can see right here, you know. But it should be looking like this. And if it did look like this, it would be able to chop wood, split wood, and do whatever without, you know, breaking. But I could break this real easily, trying to split some old gnarly looking wood, or chop some hardwood, chop some dry hardwood, just pow, you know, chop it. It would roll the edge real bad. I already rolled the edge a long time ago right here, just slightly, so I can't do that no more. It's a kitchen knife, not really a camp knife. Because with a camp knife, you should be able to chop wood, split wood. You can't do that with this knife. This is what the cross section looks with this knife. It's so thin, you can't use it for chopping hardwood or anything like that, because you're gonna warp it. You're gonna chip the goddamn. You're gonna chip it this deep. You're gonna chip it that deep. You can't do it, but it should look like this, you know. And if it looked like this, it would be a lot stronger of a knife. And so I've seen other people chop wood and split wood. That's because their knife looked like this, and it was a lot prettier. But this, you're not gonna be able to chop wood with it. Doesn't look as pretty, even though it's still pretty and sexy. Sexy knife. Look at that sexy knife. But yeah. And something also interesting to note about the Work Tough gear is that the grind lines on this, the grinding lines from the factory, are going like this. All the way down the blade. And that's weird that it's pointing that way whenever it should be pointing that way. But that's just how I would make it. I don't know how the machine at the factory did that such a good job, but they did it. It's just interesting to note that it's like that whenever it should be a lot like this. You know, like the rays of a sun. Let's say this is the sun. The sun is going to cast out rays going straight in all angles. So right here it'd be going straight at this angle. If this thing like turned all the way like this, you know, like a circle, it should be going straight out, you know, like a sun. The rays of a sun go straight out from the circle the sun is made out of. But yeah, that's some interesting things to note about my Bark River Bravo 3 and CPM3V. Now I'm actually going to be able to use it. I couldn't use it before because I had to show you that burr that came on the edge there. Because, you know, if I went and used it a couple days, this burr could be knocked off of there. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use it until the burr is knocked off. But yeah, that's some interesting things about my Bark River Bravo 3. This is like that, and that's like that. And another interesting thing is it's the steel that they used to make this one all the way out to here. They should have just dropped the handle all the way to here, used this lantern hole, got rid of that lantern hole, and yeah. And this here is not a finger choil like lots of people say it is. That's not a finger choil. That's a sharpening choil. Just like on this knife, it's a sharpening choil. So yeah, that's not a finger choil. Finger choils are completely stupid on knives. You know, I can hold a knife right here perfectly fine. I could hold it right here and here. It's not gonna cut me. I don't have my knives stupid, ridiculously sharp all the time. And another thing is this ugly swedge that's on this thing. I guess the swedge makes it look pretty or whatever, but I would prefer this big knife to look exactly like this knife, but a bigger version, right next to each other. But no, they had to take down this here and put a swedge on there to, I guess, reduce weight or something. But you know, I warped it right here on some stuff. That's the point of percussion. That's the hardest hit that I could get on this knife, is right here. But yeah, all this extra stuff right here and this extra little thing down here, even though you have one right there, all that's just taken away of the potential of the knife. You know, it would be a little bit more heavier and be a little bit more longer, just a tiny bit, but yeah. This is a good finger choil. It feels nice and stuff, even though you don't need it. You don't need it. Here, let me find a piece of wood. Oh, look. Carving wood with the tip of my knife. Everybody's like, oh yeah, let's use this area down here. Yeah. It's like, no. I can very easily use this area up here. And this knife is dull. This knife is so dull, I haven't sharpened it yet, and I used the crap out of it. I even hit the dirt with this knife a few times. Hit the dirt with it probably 5 or 7 times. I cleared a path in the woods with it so I could walk through it a lot easier. And I hit this piece of barbed wire right there. Then I hit some bricks the other day. You know, I just kind of tapped the bricks with the edge right here. Those two knives are kind of significantly dull. This one is significantly sharp. And I guess this one is an okay sharpness. So yeah, interesting things.